And we welcome you back to the show. Catcher did a fabulous job. The real estate radio show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. Chris, what a pleasure to meet your lovely wife. I know busy with the kids and everything that goes on. Now, she's from Chicago. How did you two meet?
We met in San Diego about 9 years ago, 9 years ago, roughly. And her parents had moved from Chicago. I think it was 12, 13 years ago. They moved from Chicago to San Diego. And, we kind of met through a mutual friend who actually is kind of funny because the mutual friend of ours who introduced us, actually his dad lives in Eagle. So we didn't even know that before we made the decision. So, my goal is, I wanted to bring her on the show because we keep hearing time and time again from people moving in from out of state that just, they struggle with different things and different aspects of moving here, from dealing with your children and getting them into not just school, but getting them into sports. We talked at the break about Optimist football and the fact that, all the rules are different. Like when you were in Southern California, where we came from in San Diego, when your catcher's age at 7, they're playing with pads, up here, all the rules are different. So it's kind of like one of those deals. I wanted to bring Vicki on so we just chat about, what were some of the pitfalls she dealt with when we moved here, and maybe if we could just help some other people out and they want to reach out to us and kind of, talk to us and maybe we can give them some advice.
Now, kids in Idaho are a lot tougher. They never need pads. That's
the
whole
right.
idea. Vicki, with that, we welcome you. As Chris mentioned, 8 going on 9 years, 4 kids. Catcher you met earlier, 7. Cooper also in the studio. And 2 other kids who are not here, 5 and 3. I guess, Vicki, I guess I have to ask the question, when you moved here, how old were your kids?
When we moved here, Catcher was 2.5 and Cooper was 1.5 and Lola was 2 months.
Wow. So Chris says, hey, we're moving to Idaho. You're living, in San Diego then? Is that right? Mm-hmm. And imagine a little bit of a culture shock. But I guess my question, how did you get around with 3 young kids? Chris is trying to launch his business. How were you able to do that?
Well, it was kind of hard at first because I didn't know anybody when we moved here. And, we made a decision to move here because we wanted a better place to raise our kids. I didn't want to raise them in San Diego. I'm from Chicago, small town outside of Chicago, great town, and good values, good family values I grew up with. And I just didn't see a lot of that in San Diego, and I just wanted to get our kids out of there. So, at first it was tough because I didn't know anybody, but, we joined what was Rocky Mountain Fitness, which is now Idaho Athletic Club in Eagle, and they were just great. I mean, we met so many people through there. There was a preschool in there. I threw the kids in there, met tons and tons of people. So, met our babysitter there that we still have now. Who just graduated from Boise State. So she's been with us for 5 years and just wonderful. So, it was tough at first, but there's a lot of friendly people here. And that was, one of the great things about moving here. Really easy to meet people. Yeah,
Vicki, that seems like good advice because obviously, and whether it's a man or a woman out working, you're going to meet people. But when you're at home, that's a bit of a challenge. So would that be a piece of advice from you, whether it's a fitness club or it could be a church or whatever, but become a member of a club somewhere?
Right, exactly. I agree. That definitely made a big difference for me at least. And, you see the same people all the time. And then, what's nice is you live in a small town like this and you see the same people around in the grocery store or, at a restaurant or whatever. And that was a big thing because, I don't think I ever saw the same person at the grocery store when we were there in San Diego, just so many people. So you see familiar faces and then you get to know people, talk to people, and it's really nice.
How about the growth in terms of, I'm thinking when you guys moved here, there's probably the Albertsons and Eagle, but now you got a Fred Meyer at the corner. Chris talked about the Rosars, all the convenience stores, and then the schools. It was attractive before to live here, but I'm guessing now that it's got to be the place to live.
Well, yeah, now, gosh, I think when we moved here, it was only Albertsons and Walmart, and then Fred Meyer was kind of far away. Now, I mean, even Winco wasn't there when we got here.
How did we live?
I don't know. I said I think I had 10 Targets in a 5-mile, area in
Right.
San Diego. And so that was a shock because I'm like, what am I going to do with one target? And then I thought, why do I need that many targets? You just need one. So now we have all these other, great businesses going in. The Fred Meyer I went to over the weekend is just beautiful. Just so convenient for me. And my kids actually go to preschool across a kitty corner at Challenger, which is a great school too. And so I'm right there all the time. So yeah, it's great. I think the growth is really great.
Yeah, and I think Challenger, the growth of that school, and you made a statement to me, Vicki, which especially for moms, dads are obviously concerned about it, but I have a feel of the schools, and you'd made that statement. So tell us how important that is. I mean, obviously, if you're moving a place for your kids, yeah, as Catcher said, I'm swimming and doing stuff in the summer, but you have a really good feel about the schools as well.
Yeah, I think the schools, so far I've been very happy with the schools that we've been to. Challenger we've used for preschool, and then, of course, we go to Eagle Elementary, and there's a lot of charter schools around. It's a really good variety of schools, good, a lot of choices for people, and I think they're all, very decent schools and small classes. So I know that we have a friend in San Diego whose son is in a class of 50 students. I just don't even know how an elementary school could get by with 50 students and one teacher. So we're lucky we have small class sizes and great teachers. So yeah, I'm very happy with it.
All right, our guest today is Vicki Lofthus, who is the better half of Chris Lofthus. And Chris, when did you notice, or when did you have that feel that, yeah, Vicki's really getting situated in this, she's in the groove and feels comfortable here in the great state of Idaho and Eagle?
Yeah, and we talked about before. We're not going to deny that it wasn't kind of a struggle, which it was. I was off working and she was trying to balance our kids, and then and I believe you were pregnant when we got here, right?
No. Gosh, I hope not. We had a
I feel like Bob Eubanks at the dating game here.
No, but we had our fourth child about a year and a half after we moved here. But, the thing is just she took her a couple of years. I'm not going to say it didn't, and that's what I always tell people if they want to reach out to us and ask questions. And like we say with my real estate company and with our group, Jerry and Sharon and Annette and my wife Vicki, and there's so much we can offer to people when they come to town, and they're whether it's a restaurant or whether it's shopping or whether it's where they want to live and what it's truly like. I live in Eagle. Jerry lives in Meridian. Sharon, who also works with us, she lives in North Boise. So we have a lot to offer aspect-wise of that. And so if people want to know and avoid the pitfalls and that type of stuff, we surely can help them out.
All right, Vicki, I guess the question I'm sure you've got a lot of great friends in San Diego. How do you, because I tease my friends, I've got an attorney in Chicago, and I say, well, I'd have to get a horse to go pick you up at the airport, and so, I have fun with it. What do you tell your friends when they go, so Vicki, how you doing in Idaho? What do you tell them?
They do that, or Iowa. They call it Iowa, and I tell them that I absolutely love it here. It's a great town. It's a great city. I'm partial to Chicago. I actually really love Chicago. I tried to get him to move to Chicago, but I think the 30 below wind chill in the wintertime wasn't selling him.
Right.
So we settled on here, which is just, I think it's the best balance of everything. You've got your seasons. It's not so bitter cold. You've got skiing so close. In the summer, you just so much to do with your kids. And, it's funny. People just don't understand if they have never been here. They don't understand. And, there's a lot to do in San Diego too, but try and, get down the freeway to go and see a baseball game and you're stuck in 2 hours of traffic because you can't get 15 miles. It's nice to be able to come downtown, go on the green belt and, all in a day and not have all the stress of all of that other stuff on you.
Well, yeah, Dave, too, we talk about this in general, but, it's like Eagle Road. People talk about the traffic on Eagle Road, and it's just, you kind of shake your head. You forget, we visited San Diego a couple weeks ago, and people just have no idea when you start talking about, that it takes you maybe 10 minutes to get down Eagle Road, which is 4 miles long. It's just, that's not traffic.
Yeah, and Vicki, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it sounds good sometimes. you guys have moved. Both your parents live in Eagle or live in the area too. So mom and dad on both sides must have said, "Hey, we want to." Obviously, they want to be close to grandkids, but you got to like where you're living too.
Right.
They must. How do they like
Well,
it?
and they do. They're here for the summers, so they leave in the winters, but they do. They love it here, and Chris's dad is in the car club now. He's made tons of friends. He goes and he gets his car out there every weekend, and the kids can go see, and they've made a lot of friends just in the last couple of years. And my parents love it here, and yeah, I mean, it's funny that we moved and then all of a sudden they bought houses here.
Want to be here?
Well, we see a lot of when we see a lot of that. We see a lot of people moving, and we see a lot of people following their kids. We see a lot of baby boomers moving here. So, I think that the best part about here, Dave, is that we talk about just in general, and this is why I wanted to have Vicki on the show. Is you talk about in general the things to do. Like, God, we took the kids in the Greenbelt 2 weeks in a row now. Down there by the river, and just all the other, just the cool stuff that's going on. We were riding down the river. Vicki and I were talking. I was telling a buddy of mine. I said, you can the San Diego's of the world. No, they have great places to live, but that's a pretty unique thing we have in Boise. And when I talk to people, and a lot of people have never been down the Greenbelt, and I'm just like, you that's such a great thing that the city of Boise put together.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, if you want to reach out to Vicki and just get some words of wisdom, or there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Ask her for help. Just call the office at 350-6228, 350-6228, and they'll make sure you get in touch with her. Vicki, I want to hear more about Sweet Seats. Easy for me to stay. Can you stay on for one more segment?
Sure, I'd love to.
All right. And Cooper, do you want to say hi to any? You want to come over real quick? Cooper doesn't? Okay. I had a feeling that he probably wasn't going to want to. Are you sure, Cooper? All right. Very good. Well, Cooper is here. Where are the gals at today?
The girls are with Grandma.
With Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Savannah, and it's Lola. Is that right?
Yes.
Hello, Savannah and Lola. We miss you. Wish you were here. Mom will be home in just a minute. We'll take a time out and be back after this.